Welcome, everyone. Please welcome. Please drop a link in the chat. Let me know that you're here. I've been getting the WhatsApps. So let me know that you are here and that we're ready to start. Give me a drop a link in the chat. Not a link, a heart, a fire. Yes. Hi, 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 hi. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Oh my goodness. All right. While we're talking, I am making sure that everyone has the link to know that we are live. So thank you so much for those who have um already followed the link and joined us in. Welcome, welcome. Hola. Thank you, sweetie. I just got a cup of tea. So grab your cup of tea if you need it. As I said, my head is down because I am sending out the WhatsApps and I'm rounding up everybody to let them know we are live. All right. Okay. All right. So this week, hello, hello. Hi. So this week, okay, so we are in week 3. Oh my God. Very exciting. Time flies. If this is your first time here, my name is Denise Williams. Hello, hello. My name is Denise Williams, and I'm a financial coach. And I do 2 things really for persons who have been in bankruptcy. I'm gonna turn on my fan because it's cold and it's hot at the same time. You know what I mean? So for persons who have been in bankruptcy, I help you get out. For persons looking to build assets, build wealth, I help you with that as well. Why? Because the principles that get you wealthy was probably the principles that you weren't following that got you in trouble in bankruptcy. So that's why I help choose sides. So this week, we're week 3. We're doing a 4-week series, and we have a special in-person session. But this week we're talking about your stomach and how your stomach is your investment guide. And what does that mean? Okay, well, you're going to stick around, you're going to have some tea, and you're going to find out how your stomach is going to be in fact, your stomach is the best investment guide, because once you get to know what's going on with your stomach, you're going to figure out if your stomach is leading you away from or toward what you want to achieve. Okay? So we are going to talk about investments. We are going to talk about investment charts. We're going to talk about a lot. So have a cup of tea. Okay. So, okay, what are we working towards? So in this session, this 4-week, we're not talking just about dry numbers. We are talking about your abundant heart. We want you to be free from emotional debt. We want you to be confident. We want you to have clarity, really and truly. And in fact, I can just jump ahead and say for next week's session, clarity. We're going to put everything together and get the roadmap for you. Okay? Now, remember, we talked about this last week, and I just want to run through the last 2 weeks, do sort of a quick summary so you know where we are. So the money in your mind controls the money in your wallet. That, ladies and gentlemen, is huge. Most of us, if not all of us, are probably not pleased with the money in our wallet. That means we want to do some work, yeah, to dig into what's happening in our mind. And I can tell you, as a financial coach, when I work with my clients, there's a lot of there's a lot of misconceptions. And when you walk into the bank, they don't have time to work through all of those issues with you. They need to go. Why are you here? How much money do you have? What are you paying off? It tends to be a very quick experience. And so one of the reasons why people want a financial coach, hi, blessings. Yeah, people want a financial coach is because you want somebody to work through the issues with you. Remember that, if COVID didn't teach us anything else, pivots happen. Okay, what it says? That's right. I want you rich financially, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. Yes. Listen, first of all, financially is the last thing that happens when it comes to riches. It's literally the last thing. The psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually is what happens first. Okay, financially is the fruit. Yeah. Oh, you are so welcome. You for the invite. You're welcome. So listen, we are pivoting all the time. Okay, all the time. So you're earning that big promotion. You're starting over for divorce, retiring early. You may have a career change, job loss, location change. There's an illness. You may take your side hustle full time. I really want to spend some time about that because, again, greetings. I want to set that, in your mind that as I said it, I'm going to keep saying it. The money is the last part of the journey. It shows up last. It really shows up last. So we want to just dig into it. I started out by saying your stomach is your investment guide. Yes? Oh, hey! Greetings, everyone. Your stomach is your investment guide. You are always pivoting in life, OMG. So now we're just going to run through what we've been talking about in the last couple weeks. So we talked about scarcity, it being a wound, and it doesn't allow you to see the money flow, and it happens to us all. Okay, none of us are exempt. We may be on different levels, but we're there. Okay, and the very first week we talked about your emotional economy. Ladies and gentlemen, mostly ladies, but if there are any gentlemen, welcome. Right, how are you dealing with your emotional economy? Are you being poured into? Or are you just giving? Are you just giving? Are you running behind everyone? Did you cook dinner for 20 people for Christmas? So exhausted that nobody noticed you were exhausted. Yeah? You crashed and everybody was like, they didn't even see you. Are you just working? Okay? Are you angry about money? Are you bitter about money? Did your ex-husband buy or build a house for another woman and then run out of money before her roof was finished? You carrying that one? Yeah, I see giving way too much. Yeah. Is that what did 23 years of pension savings or investment savings go into the other woman's property and juggling a marriage and another property, juggling a child with special needs, and he tells you that you're miserable, you're old, she's hot, yeah, And then you're expected to act like nothing happened, because that's my story. For those of you who know me, know that's my story. So, checking out your emotional bank account is important. Okay. Where are you pouring and where are you being poured into? If you are with manipulative people in your life, that's not even, you're not even volunteering. They're stealing your emotional energy. Okay. So we want you, and I asked you in week 1 to start a journal. I just want to check in. Has anyone started a journal about their emotions? That's what they're being poured into or what they're pouring out of. How many are giving from an empty cup? Anybody? Please drop it in the chat. Let me know if you have been keeping a journal. Okay? Because I want you to be in balance. Okay? You need to feel whole. And so being in balance is important. Checking yourself, journaling, okay, is so important. Now, we moved on into week 3 sorry, we're still in week 1 because we were talking about emotional debt and how it relates to your credit report. Okay, see, somebody says yes, they started their journal. Excellent, excellent. We talked about a credit report. I can tell you when 2019 is probably the worst year of my life. The worst. Good God. Oh my God. Oh my God. 2019 was horrible. And my credit score reflected the horribleness of my life. And yes, I've rebuilt, but good God, it helped me to understand the connection. So I asked you to get your free credit report, please. And I'm asking you not just to look at the report, because we did that. If you signed up, you will have access to the training. So all the videos are housed in our course, right? So you have access. I asked you to look at your credit report, and I've asked you to journal your emotions. So are you in emotional debt? Because if you are, your credit report's going to reflect that. Now, a lot of people, when they hire me to work with them, it is because they want a strategy. They want a path to either earn more money or grow assets or come out of a debt situation. Now, there tends to be some pretty strategic ways, but each story is different. So the strategy for one person actually doesn't work for the other. But the credit report is where everything starts. And that's why our first week started with the credit report. Okay? So I'm imploring you to get your credit report, but also to journal. Okay? I don't want you. It is so easy to beat up yourself and say, I'm so stupid. I'm this age and I should have achieved more. I'm this age and this opportunity. I want to ask you a question because I've had to ask myself this question. Are you fighting yesterday's battles? Are you fighting yesterday's war? That's the question tonight. Are you fighting yesterday's war? What's an example? Am I still, you know, in battle with my ex-husband over the custody of 2 babies? Well, the thing is, the 2 babies have beard and mustache now, right? So am I fighting for custody of beard and mustache. They can go stay with it in the last 5 minutes. I know that. Are we fighting? Because I promise you, your credit report, your journaling about your emotional debt is going to be a reflection of yesterday's battle. So I'm getting some responses in the chat. Thank you so much. I'm getting a lot of yeses. So true. Somebody said sometimes. Two people said sometimes. Well, this girl has been doing a lot of that. Okay. I wanted to make a public declaration because I'm on this journey too. I may be a business consultant, but that doesn't mean I'm not human. Okay, question says, my question is, how do you stop fighting yesterday's battles? I think the first step is awareness. Okay. So like, I don't have babies anymore. Okay. I'm not in family court anymore. I have two young men with deep voices. I have to wonder who's in this house. Which man has come into my house? Mustache and beard. So I think that's the first issue. I will also confess my yesterday battle with, I used to work at a certain place. I used to work in investment banking. And so is it that I'm still fighting the battles in the workplace? And someone said childhood trauma. Oh my God, that means maybe we have the same mother. Oh my God. Now, you want yesterday's battle? That's me and my mother. Okay. And, I mean, my grandfather died probably when I was still in my 20s. And I'm still pissed off with him. Okay? Still pissed off. And that is yesterday's battle. So that means that man has been dead, Well, I'm not going to age myself, but he's been dead for a while. And I'm still pissed off. Okay? That's not helpful. So I'm telling you my journey because I want you to be aware. So how do we know? See, the thing is, here's the problem. Here's the hurtful part about yesterday's war. What if the person won? What if you lost? What if you lost? What if the self-love is in the ruins of what the person did? What if you lost? or this is worse for me. I'm sharing. What if you were right at one time? You were right, but the world has moved on, and what you were right about is no longer relevant. Oh my gosh, what is that? What is that? So it's either you lost, and that's painful to admit. I mean, how am I going to get that other woman is not going to give me back my savings that I had accumulated in the marriage? She's not going to give it back. So maybe I need to just acknowledge that I lost that money. Okay? And then if I was right at one point, I was right to fight for my babies, but the world has moved on. I don't have babies anymore. Do I still need to fight those battles? Okay, so I'm giving you that. I'm working on that. I'm giving you that to put in your journal. Okay, now we're moving on to the week before. Okay, wow. Here we go. So we have a comment. Before I move on to week 2, because that was just week 1. My goodness. So let me see. Before we go to week 2, I'm going to read the comment. It says here, not fighting yesterday's battle anymore. However, was shell shocked for a full year and didn't even realize I was free. Stepping into my free self now. Praise the Lord. Amen. 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 And someone says no. I'm not sure what you mean, what you're saying no about. And then someone added, what if you are accused wrongfully or lied on, but the liar never apologized? Okay, yeah, it's back to what I'm saying. What if you lost 23 years of savings, right? Because your ex-husband at the time decided he's going to build a house for another woman. Oh, I see. You asked me if we should still fight. Right. Dad says no, don't, no. And you understand? What if, someone says the person never, my ex-husband called me 2 days ago to tell me that he doesn't feel well and nobody cares. Right? Nobody come visit him. Nobody cares. This man took 23 years of savings and expects me to somehow drop everything I'm doing to deal with him because he's not feeling well. That's not an apology. That's not, you didn't even acknowledge what you did. Now, of course, God is good and I was able to recover. So I'm not, I'm going to rejoice in the glory of God. Okay, so let me say that. Right. The question is, I'm going to go back. It says, not calling to apologize. Listen, we're back to 2 questions of yesterday's battle. What if you lost? I lost the money. I never got an apology. I lost. Okay? She said, tell him to call Tyrone. You damn right. I lost that battle. I lost yesterday's battle in terms of that. So that financial hit was massive. And then in terms of I was right to fight for my children, but I don't have babies anymore because the world has moved on. The question is, have you moved on? Have you moved on? Because the world has moved on. So we're looking at 2 scenarios. So again, as I said, take to your journal and decide, did you lose? Okay, you lost. How do you lead yourself? How do you love yourself in the ruins so you can rebuild? Or if you were right one time and the world has moved on, what do you do? What do you want to do? That's the question. That's very important. So now let's go to week 2. No, someone said my ex has not moved on. He called you. Oh, look here. Do not get me started. This man called me about 2 weeks ago to tell me that he's tired of being celibate because women want too much. I hang up the phone, right? And I'm thinking, why all of a sudden he's so friendly and calling me? I would block him, but I have those who know me know I have a child with special needs, and just in case I don't. But I'm like, seriously, if that's not the biggest not apologizing I've ever heard, that probably take the cake. All right, week 2. So we're back to scarcity and why we don't check our money, why we don't track our money. So next week, because we're putting everything together, we are going to go through a session of tracking our money and planning things out. Okay, so we're going to use the software on the system so you can see what happens in terms of tracking your money. Okay, we have been taught to satisfy. We have been taught that we mustn't ask for too much. Okay, Whether our parents, our grandparents, whether the school system, our spouse, you name it. In our life, we've been told, do not take more than your share. But what is your share? What is your share? Right? Nobody tells you what, nobody defines. They say, okay, you know what? You shouldn't have more than $1. We have to appreciate that our money is an energy pattern. I keep saying money is the last thing that happens because it's our energy, you know? And it's our frequency, it's our vibration. And if we have in our heart this feeling, because again, we all have it at different levels, okay? So nobody's on this call saying they're perfect. All right, we have here moving is the better road for self love and growth. I don't know that person who even gives my time to the person who teaches me the lesson. I now fully understand. Yeah, moving on. Because if your money is your energy and you're around the people who keep telling you you can't have enough. I mean, you can't get what you want. You want too much. But what is too much? What is too much? There's no such thing as too much. And that hurts. And that's why we're going to spend a lot of this time together tonight on your stomach. Okay? Before we get into investing, we're going to talk about your stomach because the stomach does the exact same function of investing, but you don't know that. You soon find out, but you don't know that. And so for a lot of us, we need to release the inherited limits that no longer serve us. And guess what else? Let me tell you something. This is like the dirtiest secret. The dirty secret is that you may have bills due every 28 days, every 30 days, okay? And so there's this anxiety and panic because oh my God, the bills are piling up and so that is true. But let me tell you what else is also true. Having been in investment banking, so I don't work in an investment bank, but I am on a couple boards with the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, and I'm in the market research committee for the Jamaica Stock Exchange. I work with Small Business Association. I'm a business coach. I work on projects, and I'm telling you, your next wealth move, your next growth is between 12 to 18 months of work, of action. You have to do this thing first, then this thing second, then this thing third. Somebody has to sign that document. Then that document has to go to that location. It's a process. But what happens is, and I want to really dial into this before we move on. This is YouTube. This is the social media. So, that's how we all get to know each other in some way. But I can tell you one of the most hurtful thing to me as a coach is that people go online and they think that most of the people tell you can, watch their video and then get a checklist and then quickly do something. Okay? They tell you that you can learn in 30 days. You cannot learn investing in 30 days. You can't learn investing in a week. You are not building wealth in a month. Yes, you can win the lottery. I'm not going to say you can't. Now, are people in earning money, say, for example, like with bots, you give your money to a bot and the bot does the trading and stuff? There are people who do make money, but I think the people who make money that way understand the system. In my work, the average person comes to me after they've lost between 5,000 US dollars and 18,000 US dollars trying to trade, trying to follow YouTube University, trying something. So they've come to me with the big losses, and then they want me to help them recover in 30 days. And I tell them, I won't take your money. I will not take your money as a coach because I can't help you. If you need a strategic partner to lay out a plan and then help you to hit each milestone, I'm your girl. Okay? But if you've been giving your money to these different trading schemes, by the time you come to me, you are angry and pissed off. Okay? Because you feel cheated. And so I want to tell you, so if you go to any investment bank, okay? If you're in the US, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Jamaica, Barita, Victoria Mutual. You're in Trinidad. There's JMB in Trinidad, JMB in the Dominica Republic. There is no deal that goes to the stock market, the bond market, the real estate market, the cryptocurrency market. There's no the forex trading. There is no deal that happens in less than 6 months. And we're talking about billions of dollars. And if they have billions and it don't happen in less than 6 months, why do you think you're going to get something done in 30 days? It's just not going to happen. I knew one deal that happened in 6 months, and that was only because I knew the head of one of the organizations. She had to come into work on the weekends, and she was leaving work 11 o'clock at night. And that's how the deal went fast. But the average person wants to go home 5 o'clock. So that means the deal is going to take 12 months. Somebody says investing is not sexy. I don't agree. I think investing is, I love it. It's the sexiest. I think there should be a law that every woman, when she turns 18, gets her own investment account. It should just be law. Like how they force you to have insurance when you drive. Because when you understand the freedom that investing gives you, it's a sexual turn on for me, okay? Because it's freedom, it's choice, okay? But let's dig back into the slides. So we want to release limits that no longer serve. And I just want to jump right back in to say, for me, what does release look like? I share with you, it looks like art. It looks like going to a mineral bath and letting the water take care of me. It looks like going to the beach. To me, taking care of your body, having some kind of artistic outlet is how you release all of those negative messages that people told you over the years. Okay? That's my way. You need to find your way, but I really think that's what works for me. Okay, so we talked about this following your plan. So this is the Wise Five. This is what I went through. Again, I'm going to go into the software next week from start to end because, first of all, you can do this on your phone. So that's, for me, fantastic. And secondly, this brings up a lot of negative energy because when you start tracking what you're spending, you're like, oh, I always knew I was spending too much on groceries, but oh my God, what am I going to do? I spend too much on gas. Well, the thing is, if we're going to help your situation, we have to understand your budget. We have to understand how you spend. And what we're going to do next week is we're going to look at putting in your financial freedom. So what I'd love for you to do, because next week I want to really, talk us through. You're gonna give me some numbers, drop it in the chat, and then I'll put it in the software. So when I say numbers, it don't have to be your real numbers, but I want us all to participate. And so, but have your financial freedom number. What do you want? You want 1 million, 2 million, 10 million? I don't know. And also think about, if you were retired today, how much would you want monthly? So think about that number as well. So we're thinking about a lump sum. What does financial freedom look like? And then we're going to um, ask you for your monthly. What do you want? Remember, we talked about. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, hit the like button, guys. Yes. Remember that we talked about taking care of yourself at 80. So what that's the other reason why I think this is very sexy, because you can time travel and say, you know what, when I'm 80, I want to spend all my time doing work for my church, or I want to spend all my time traveling or whatever. But you get to choose. And for those of us boo-hooing about being over 50, when you think about your 80-year-old self, you have 30 years to prepare for her, 30 years. And you're telling me you're going to sit down and waste 30 years? No. Absolutely not under my, what is it? Not in my cabinet. No. We can't waste 30 years. Oh my gosh. We gotta get smart. We gotta get out there and do the right thing. But we can't do it in anxiety and misery. We gotta clean up in here. The heart and the stomach. We're gonna talk about that soon. You're damn right. When I'm 80, I want a 60-year-old boyfriend. You damn right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think there's going to be a lot of them available. I do. Okay. So this is Wi-Fi. You have the link. I will resend it, but we'll work on it together next week in depth. So now we're in week 3. We're into the meat of the matter. Your stomach. And this is why I'm saying, sweetie, investing is sexy. It is so sexy. Oh, and look here. Okay, first of all, a lot of us, you know what? My spirit tell me to stand up and lift up my shirt and let you see my tummy. But that's out of order. I won't do it. Because some of us, we have a big belly and we don't like it. Is it that our tummy isn't sexy? No, you gotta love all your bits and pieces. I mean, my stomach is not flat, but you know what? I got a lot of freckles on my stomach, so I like that. So we're gonna talk about the stomach and investing. So your stomach and the investment market. This is Forex, crypto, real estate, bonds. This is all the different markets, because they talk about trust. Are you going to put something in your stomach that you don't trust? No. You're afraid of being poisoned. We're all instinctively afraid of being poisoned. Assimilation. When you put something and it goes into your stomach, it becomes a part of your body. Some leaves, but a lot of stays in your body. Same thing with the stock market. And future nourishment, right? I don't know about you, but I had a grandma that said she's not worried about her big belly because she can live off of the fat. But the stock market, the real estate market, the cryptocurrency market, the money market, the Forex market, all investment markets are about future nourishment. Ladies and gentlemen, I really I want to just take this minute. Investing is nourishment. Your stomach is where you process nourishment. What is nourishment? Nourishment is care, it's love, it's safety. But you said, Denise, the stock market isn't safe. I could lose my money. True. But do you keep everything in your stomach? No, you don't. If you did, you'd be in the hospital. Okay? So think about the nourishment of your life. The stock market, the bond market, the real estate market, it's all the same. Hi, how you doing? So we're talking about nourishment. So I'm going to run through some phrases. Please drop in the chat if any one of these resonates with you, and we'll talk about it. Oh, I have a message. It says here, listen, what is that? Your babies used to live right in your stomach. It's a monument of life. That's right. That's right. And how did you deal with your babies? You nourish them. Now, does the stock market come across in that gentle way? No, it doesn't. But it is. It is. It is. It really is. And if you know what you're doing, if you know what to look for, investing is the most nourishing thing you can do for yourself. And if you are willing to take the time, you know you have to take 4 years for a university. You know a baby needs 9 months to. Everything takes time, but are you willing to invest in the learning? That's the question. Okay? Because the learning is not free and the learning is not fast. But is it worth it? Is the next 12 to 18 months worth it to you? That's the question. Okay? Now, as I said, let me run through these phrases. If anything jumps out at you in relation to investing, let's talk about it. Okay, here we go. This makes me sick to my stomach, right? Notice that this image beside that statement, the market goes up and down, right? It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. And people say they don't want to invest because it makes them feel sick to their stomach. Or how about this one? I can't stomach the risk. You ever say that? Or I feel nuts in my stomach watching the market. Yuck. Awful. Or I've lost my appetite for investing. I got burned. Like I told you, a lot of people come to me and they've lost 18,000 US. They've lost so much money and they want to quickly recover, but they don't want to invest because they lost their appetite. I need time to digest this opportunity. Well, you know what's good about the market? There's a new opportunity every day. But the question is, I find that persons who say they need time to digest, they really mean no, and they don't want to tell you no. And so the question becomes, are you trying to time the market? Or do you think you should spend time in the market? Two different things, right? Next one. That investment left a bad taste in my mouth. You notice we're still sticking with the stomach. your feelings about the stock market, the real estate market, the bond market, cryptocurrency market, forex market. We have the question is, do you have the stomach for it? That's the question, isn't it? Yeah, do you have the stomach for it? How about I feel queasy putting the money there? So I find, and I'm going to be very honest, people will not invest in education, not invest in coaching, but fling their money in the market and pray for a miracle, or believe that their banker should call them and update them about what's happening. And it said here, what are your thoughts about set it and forget it? Okay, I'm going to answer that. And the next one, time in the market is better than timing the market. Absolutely. Okay, set it and forget it. Set it and forget it means that you have a plan. So if I'm buying for the next 5 years, then I can set it and forget it for the next 5 years. If I'm going to set it and forget it for the next 6 months, that's okay. So set it and forget it without a plan is a problem. You've just thrown away your money. And I find it says your banker doesn't care about you, but your banker isn't paid to care about you. That's not the banker's job. A financial coach is paid to care. A banker is paid when you make the decision. After you've made the decision, they move on. The job is done. So the decision you make is the banker's job. So their job is to get you to make a decision. But the plan, the profiting, the benefits, the growth is not the banker's job, right? That's your job. And if you want help, then you pay for help. So you have to really look at it in the same way. You wouldn't expect to go to university for nothing. You wouldn't expect to go to university for free. You wouldn't expect the professors at university to chase behind you and call you. Oh, did you do your homework? No, that's not gonna happen. It says here, what talk about your babies used to one should realize the stock market is pregnant with opportunities right now. As I said it, the stock market has an opportunity every single day. Okay? Every single day. The US market, the Canadian market, the Jamaican market. And that's just the stock market. The Forex market, that's like every minute. That's not even a day. That's a minute. Okay? The bond market, right? Trades every day, but you can hit monthly benefits because you're trying to get, interest income from the bond market. Same with the money market. The real estate market, good God. The real estate market gives you daily opportunities through the stock market, gives you opportunities through foreclosures, gives you opportunities through partnerships. Literally, the opportunities are so much that you can become overwhelmed. But if you're not prepared to spend the money to educate yourself, you're not going to ask the right questions. And the opportunities pass by. And you're going to feel like nobody cares. Instead of realizing that every single day there are millions of people who get up and they go to work to create investment opportunities. Their job is to create the opportunity. The job isn't to make you take the opportunity. Their job is to create. So the people who are ready for the creation say, oh my God, every day is a great day. I couldn't swallow the losses. So there is research that shows humans feel loss greater than they feel gain. So the people who come to me having lost $5,000 or 18,000 in the forex market because they were trying to trade to replace their salary. They're so angry because they had this loss and they don't know how to recover from the loss. And so they're angered and they come to me, what do you mean you're charging me? What do you, and they come with this attitude. Or if they don't, or that, because that's men. Women are more, oh, this kind of, I'm a victim, and they want support, they want sisterhood. That's what women do. Men attack, instead of saying, yes, I lost this money. Yes, I have been hurt. But yes, I'm going to now invest to learn. I'm going to invest to grow. It says here, same way remember bad things versus good things. Yeah, there's probably 10, 15 good things that happen to you every day. But you just remember the thing that pisses you off the most. And you are, that shapes your whole day. So you had a horrible 5 minutes, which makes the whole day horrible, so it wipes out all the good things. Another one, I don't have the stomach for this type of volatility because the market goes up and down. But guess what? It is your education. It is your support system that makes you win regardless. I promise you that everybody on this call is a winner. Everybody on this call has opportunity. Again, I started at the beginning of this call saying that because we have bills to pay every month, we're on like a mental 28-day cycle so that we really want fast things. I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. So we're not seeing that there's so much opportunity out there. We don't have an accountability partner. The person that let me talk about me. I won't talk about, I don't know your business. I talk about me. The persons, yes, this is just one. The person I lie down next to for 23 years. The persons in my family that I spend my life with, they don't follow the market. They don't understand investing. I do not go to church with people who say, let us pray for the stock market. Let us pray for the real estate market. Denise, I'm praying on you to find an affordable property. I don't get that at church. Maybe you do. I don't get that at church. Right? I don't go places and people just walk up to me and hold my hand and says, oh, Denise, I wish for you great financial opportunity. It doesn't happen. That's not our culture. It's not our culture. It's not our culture. After you buy something in the stock market, I don't get a phone call. It's like, oh, Denise, you're so special. Let me call you and follow up. No, they treat me just like how they treat you. Nobody does. No. The forex market. Nobody calls me and says, oh my gosh, Denise, hurry up and buy British pounds. Hurry up and buy Canadian dollars. Hurry up and buy US. Nobody does that. It doesn't happen. That's what we want, though, right? I don't meet men. If they're out there, please fix me up. But I don't meet men that come and say, "Oh my gosh, Denise, you're so sexy. Let me show you how to invest and profit." I don't get that. So conversations about opportunity don't tend to happen in the normal course of things. That's why you have to put yourself in the spaces where that conversation does take place. Okay? And that's your choice. That's a decision. Okay? Because when you went to university, they didn't talk about investing at university. They talk about the student loan. They talk about how you're going to pay for the classes. But they never told you how to get opportunity to grow your wealth. That conversation didn't happen. Okay? It means you have to choose to put yourself in the space where it's gonna happen. Okay? And that tends to be such a hard choice because that's not how we grow up. So again, we're back to investing. It feels hard to stomach. Okay? And here's, I hear this one. I went against my gut and paid for it. So because you paid for it one time and it blew up, you're so angry that you don't want to pay again. You think somehow to make up for the loss that you experienced, you should get help for free. Let me let you in on a secret. Taking losses is how you get better. Taking losses is a part of investing. Taking losses is so much a part of investing that risk management is a degree in university. That is how normal losses are. But does it feel good when you see $5,000 blown up, $18,000 blown up? It don't feel good. Does it feel good when, oh my God, I was saving for a house and my money tanked? It don't feel good. It does not feel good. And so the journey, it says nothing is free. True. What I find, persons are on this journey because they took a hurtful loss. They want to get it back for free, and that hurts. It really hurts. And so, and I'm repeating myself to some extent because I want to just drill into you. So, two things I want you to take away from this evening. One, there's a cost to the education. I don't even tell you about the investment yet. We're talking about the education. And two, the strategy to create wealth for you is going to be between 12 months to 18 months. I am so confident in that because I've done it for so many people. If your goal is to grow your assets, because that's where cash comes from, then if you take nothing from this series, take the timeline of 12 to 18 months. Okay? Please take that from me. 12 to 18 months. That's the secret sauce. That's how they do it in investment banking. Okay? That's how they make their money. That's how they get to cash. Okay. So, energetically, your stomach is processing, trusting, integrating resources. Like, you're not even thinking about these questions, but when you look in the refrigerator, you're going to ask yourself, what do I take in? Can I digest this safely, or have it gone bad? Will this nourish me or harm me? That's literally what the stock market, the real estate market, the forex market, the cryptocurrency market, the money market, all the markets are asking the same thing. But for a lot of us, they ask it in a very aggressive way. It's a very masculine, hard, aggressive energy, as opposed to food in our stomach, which is softer, more feminine, caretaking. Someone says, yeah, yes, Moses, you know that the stock market is masculine. And so for a lot of persons, that can be intimidating. So it's like the answer is, what can I take in? Nothing. What can I digest safely? Nothing. Will this nourish or harm me? Oh, it's going to take all my money, so it's going to harm me. You know, so because of the way it is presented. So, what are you putting your resources into? Can you trust the system Will this support me later or hurt me now? Again, we are back to the plan. So hear me repeat myself. What is your next 12 to 18 month plan? If you have it, you want to share it, drop it in the links. Let's hear it. Because if you don't have a plan for the next 12 to 18 months, that's what I do. That's my business. That's my coaching. However, if you want to share it right now, I'll give you my opinion for free. If you want to share. So, if you take 12 to 18 months, do the paperwork, do the legwork, visit this location and that location, and do what you need to do, then you're good. It says here, complete my rental property renovations. Well, okay. I mean, I like it. Where's the location of your rental property? And how far are you from completing? Okay. One of the challenges, what pops into my mind, one of the challenges with rental property renovations, you may be working with a team that doesn't understand your budget. So communication is huge. Daily communication. Oh, you're 10% completed. So, sweetie, communication, communication, communication. You literally have to find a professional builder who will be like your best friend. Okay? Because you want to know that the money is secure when you make a deposit, and you want to know that they have they're going along with what you do. So here's let me tell you about that. For your plan, if you are doing rental property renovations, your 12-month to 18-month plan, it is so worth it. Pay for a bill of quantity, pay for a drawing if you don't already have one, and pay for a proposal. Those three documents that you pay for will allow you to check off as you go along so you do not waste money. Wasting money is the worst part of any investment. And so paying the professional to do those three documents will probably save you, because if without it, you probably will be 30 to 40% spending more than you normally would. So that's what I would tell you. Get a bill of quantity, get a drawing for the final look, and get a proposal for how much labor and materials is needed. Someone says, Moses says, contact me for architectural drawings. There you go. There's your links. Okay. If anybody has any plans you don't want to share in the group, please, this week, I'm open to giving you my opinion about your 12 to 18 month plan. So you can send me a WhatsApp, because I'm sure you have my phone number because you're in this group. Okay. And no, anyone else want to share? Anyone else? All right. Here we go. Okay. So let's go I think about 2 weeks ago, someone was sharing about them learning their chakras. And chakras are where energy is in your body. So I hope, if we're not familiar with chakras, let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and assume that most of us know what chakras are and the different energy parts of our body. So the stomach is associated with the solar plexus. That's basically your belly button. So if you can put your hand on your belly button, you are holding on to your solar plexus region, and this is your power region. That is why investing triggers your tummy. Okay? Moses, you're asking me how to unblock the chakras and be aware. Okay, fair question. Fair question. So, we're talking about worthiness. Are you worth the investment to learn how to invest? Because we haven't invested yet. We're talking about just learning. And are you worth it? What are your boundaries? Because if you don't have boundaries, some people are trying to, let's say for example, you want to replace your salary, or you want to double your salary in 30 days. Is that rational? It didn't take you 30 days to get to the skill that puts you in the job. Okay, so we need to have boundaries with ourselves, self trust, decision making, and your personal power. I want to invite you. So, Moses, you're asking how to unblock. We're back to your emotional accounting. What is coming in and what is going out? An extreme example, I will use myself. I don't have no shame. I tell him my business. Why was 2019 the worst year of my life? 2019 was the year, well, it was like a 4 years prior to that. But 2019 was the year when I lost my fourth job in the fourth year. Okay? So I had been going into jobs, losing jobs, can't get along with people, you know, and I was always fighting with the CEO. I never got an argument with the people who I sat beside. I went for the top people and we got into it. And one day I'm sitting in church and I'm like, I can't keep going back to the pastor and saying, pray for me to get another job. My God, what's wrong with me? Right? And I was like, whoa, I am so unhappy. I'm so miserable. And I was in a really bad marriage. Oh, thank you. I was meant to be CEO. Thank you. Yes. I was in a really bad marriage, and my baby. So I had two sons, all right, and my second baby had Down syndrome. So I'm in the hospital, and I'm at the doctor's office, and I'm at the pharmacy, and I honestly didn't have any of these. So let me just run back through the list. So in 2019, there was no personal power. I didn't feel like I had decision making, no self trust, no boundaries, no worthiness. None of that. Let I tell you, 2019 was worse. And I'm sitting there in church, and I don't have a job, and I have my babies sitting beside me, and I get a phone call from my ex, and he's telling me that he knows I'm not at church. I'm out with another man, and I'm cheating on him, and he's carrying on, and I'm thinking to myself, how did I get into this? How on earth did I get into this nightmare? I don't feel good at home. I'm unhappy. I'm miserable. And you know what? I'm taking that unhappiness and that misery to my job. I'm taking that unhappiness and misery to every investing plan that I went into. So the question comes back, how do you unblock? So someone has some suggestion. One suggestion is numerology. I happen to like numerology, but we're not going to get into that here. My issue, hold on, let me just take this call. Sorry. Hi, can I call you back? I'm on a Zoom. I'll call you back. All right. Uh-huh. Yeah. Right. And I took back my power, right? And I actually in 2019 made the decision to invest, right? I'm not telling you to do what I didn't do. And I invested across the board. I did art therapy, I did yoga. I did numerology. I did chakra. I did Reiki. Of course, I did financial planning. Of course, I did investing. I did investing and I went deep in investing because I was like, if I can't keep a job, I need to eat. And so investing, became my way. But you've got to make the decision. I sit here as a product of investing in myself, right? Somebody asked why men constantly accuse their good wives. Because, sweetie, accusing me of what he was doing. How about that? Okay, moving on from there. So we're going to look at this because energetically, money is potential. Okay? Now, this is kind of for women, so please, gentlemen on the call, don't feel insulted. But if a lot of women, if they've seen their parents fight or they fought with their spouse or their, partner over money, anything to do with shame or loss, any sort of danger, right? The same way your stomach tightens up is the same way you develop a fear of money. And a lot of us simply believe we don't deserve it. We also do want a lot of help. And there's nothing wrong with that because help is available. You have to know that you're walking two paths. What do I mean? I mean, there's a structure to investing, there's a language to investing. That's not going to change, okay? It's going to be what it is. But there's also you as an energy person, and you have your own language, you have your own way of understanding. And because the two things are true, learning the vocabulary of investing, learning how to invest, and learning about yourself, when it happens at the same time, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay? Because why? Investing is nourishment in yourself. It's structured, it's not reckless. It's aligned with your value. If your value is freedom, if your values is love, if your value is community development, you better believe that investment is aligned with that. And you also do it incrementally. So what does that mean? 12 to 18 months creating a plan, working that plan gives you enough time to adjust. It will be uncomfortable at first. It will be disruptive at first. It will be words that you may not understand the meaning to at first. But keeping that 12 to 18 month timeline in your mind frees you, totally and completely frees you, because you can, it's bite sizes, right? You bite piece each month. You take a small bite. Nothing heavy for the stomach, nothing heavy for the heart, nothing overwhelming for the mind, right? You're in control of how you manage manage. Okay? And that's why clarity, education, and pacing. The pace is slow. Okay? Because why? It regulates your nervous system. It allows you to have the nourishment that you need because you're entering in a new world. Investing is a new world, right? Remember, we're going to release limits that no longer serve your life. Okay? And this is the new world. Literally, this, when you learn how to read this chart, because this is actually giving you a lot of information. When you learn how to read this, I promise you that your life is going to change for the better because now you have another way of making money. You have another way of growing. I will never tell you, oh, run away from your job, change your life quickly. No. I'm telling you that if you choose to invest, or you choose real estate, or you choose whatever you choose, and you take the time to be educated about your plan and you get support, right? You have an accountability partner. I am positive, right, that you are going to be so impressed. Okay? I want to give you this plan. I just want to talk through it. Please, if you have any comments in the chat, I want you to talk to me. So what's going to happen is I am going to go through this, the tools. And when we go through the tools, uh, during the course of this week, I'm going to send you a link. The link will have 3 other links, and I want you to go into all 3. So if you've already gotten your free counseling session, then don't click on that link for the free counseling session. But if you haven't, please link it. And then the other links are the tools that I'm using, and we can talk about that in your free session. Okay? So let's look at your plan. Because the plan that, if you, as I said, this week, if you want to drop me a WhatsApp with your personal 12-month plan, I'll give you my opinion, what I think about it. But we're talking about implementation now, which is completely different. So I want you to look at this. Okay. So you have a salary in some shape or form. It may not be the salary that you want. Lord have mercy. We know about that. You have a business. You may have a side hustle or a full business. Real estate needs to be part of your plan. And if you're interested, we can get into it in more detail in your consultation. But the REIT is the Real Estate Investment Trust, which is on the stock market. They pay out dividends just like rental income. Okay? And then, of course, the physical property for you to collect rental income. Then you have your investments. And then you have digital portfolio, Forex, and crypto. Please don't tell me you don't think it's real or whatever. Don't do that. I'm telling you, please. Okay? Because it is real. It is there. Is it going to replace your salary in 30 days? No, it's not. Is it going to change your life in 18 months? Yes, it will. I mean, awesomely, it will. Okay? So I really want you to, as I said, you're going to have access to this training in the back office. So, please make sure you've signed up into the our platform. But each one of you on this call has an opportunity to maximize this plan for yourself. Okay? These are the tools that we put together and we manifest the life that you want. Do any comments? Anything you want to say? Because it's getting quiet in here. Any comments? Is this making sense to you, as these are where you would invest in your education? Okay. So I'm going to say it's clear as mud, right? But I just saw, while you're digesting that, to just remind you, I did send out the link, and this training is to build awareness on my church, and asking you to donate. I'll be sending out the donate button. Thank you. Someone says they believe. Thank you very much. I just wanted to remind you of that. Also, we're going to have an in-person investment chart reading watch party at my church. I think it's going to be fun. We're going to have some soup. You bring your laptop and we'll get cracking on that. We'll do the watch party. What will happen here is that we will set up your investment account, and that's free. The education is not free, but setting up everything you need is free. And the watch party is going to show you how to use the tools. Okay. So you will get an awesome sneak peek. We're going to do a little bit of that next week as well, because I know not everybody is in Jamaica who's on this call. So we're going to split next week. We're going to split the class in half. We're going to do half of our training in Wi-Fi and walk you through setting up. Then the second half, we're going to do a part of the watch party so that you can see how the investment chart is set up. Now, if you want to go deeper, we have a 5-day coaching experience. Why is this special? Oh, thank you. Very good info. Thank you very much. Why is this coaching experience special? Because for us, we're going to, first of all, this is me and you, and we're going to look at your personality. Why do you do what you do with your money? Why are you doing what you did with your money 10 years ago and nothing has changed? We're going to get deeper into you. It's all about you. 5 days, me and you. Not 5 full days, right? It's going to be 90 minutes on the call, right? But it's going to be all about you. So if you want a more deeper experience, we're talking about starting over strong. So, and finally, if you do want help with your credit, you can also drop me a line and I will send you a link for that service. So what have we taken away from this experience? One, I think I've told you my life story, so that's, always good. Two, remember to get your journal. Do not journal in another journal. I want you to have a fresh journal, because if you're tracking every day what's poured into you, what you pour out, you will need a fresh journal. I want you to get your credit report. Okay, very, very important. That was week 1. Week 2, I'm going to send you the Wi-Fi link. I want you to track your spending. I want you to track your income. And then for next week class, I want you to have your financial freedom number. And I want you to have the monthly income that you want to have at 80. This week, week 3, we spent a lot of time about your stomach and investing. Okay? I'm going to send you some links about investing. I want to reiterate, investing in your education, investing in an accountability partner is what matters, because I'm going to scroll back. These, I have these tools for you. And why is this? Oh, let's see. Is it going back? It's not going back. Naughty. Let's see what we have here. I want to go back to the tools, because when you are changing your life over the next 12 to 18 months, there is a process. There are tools. Okay? Yes, you can give away your money on the internet to a bot and wish for the best. Yes, you can. I can't stop it. In fact, unfortunately, because the bots require a credit card, when things go belly up, I do see a lot of persons who invested that way in bankruptcy. Okay. So I just want to say to you that professionally, I don't recommend it. Okay. I don't recommend it. I recommend education and accountability. And again, let me just remind you of the tools. You have your salary, your business, your real estate, your investments, your digital portfolio. Okay. All of these pull cash to you. Okay. They all pull cash to you. So at the end of the day, when you're working with me, in 18 months, you're supposed to have more cash. Very simple. Be plain and raw and simple. You're supposed to have more cash. These are the tools that I use. I don't do nothing else. If there's other ways, and I know there are, but I don't know them. So you go hire somebody else. You don't hire me. I don't know. These 5 tools is where I can help you, is where I can support you. So, do we have any questions before we go? I think this was a very fun 90 minutes for me. Do we have any questions? Is there anything that jumped out at you that you want to share or you want to talk about? Anything? Going once? Going twice? Anything? We're all good? Clear as mud? Well, I hope to see you again next week. So our last session next week. And oh, thank you very much. And Denise, I don't know if she said any reply. I'm not sure what you mean. So yes. She says any reply. What do you mean any reply? Oh, Denise, you just got on. Oh my gosh. Well, the good thing is that the replay will be stored in the class. And definitely, I will send you all the links so you can get into the classroom and get the replay. Denise, thank you. I am looking forward to your Valentine class. I'm very, very excited. You know, I love art. Art is my therapy. And yes, money is energy. And as I said, please get the journal, get working on yourself. The next 12 to 18 months can be the most amazing time of your life, the most amazing. And so I really encourage you to invest in yourself because it's worth it. Thank you very much. Good night. Oh, it says here, your reminder of the other ways of acquiring real estate. Oh, yes. So, as I said, how I work with clients, there's some clients who want physical real estate, and I work with them. We start with the credit report and we build from there. But there are other clients who do not want physical real estate. They don't want to deal with the work. And so we use what we call a real estate investment trust. No, not RUTS, it's REITS, real estate investment trust. And what happens is I help my clients to find the right mix of REITs, because what you want is that income. So it's called dividend income because it's coming from the stock market, but they treat it like rental income. So Proven is one in Jamaica, and there are 14,000 on the New York Stock Exchange. In Jamaica, there are about seven companies, and Proven is one of the seven. So definitely, it is another way. People use real estate investment trust to sort of build their portfolio. So again, that's just another way. So, any other questions? Thank you for that question on real estate investment trust. Any other questions? Well, if there's no other question, I just really want to thank you for spending this time with me. I look forward to seeing you next week. Remember to drop into the WhatsApp your 12 to 18 month plan if you want my opinion. Thank you very much. My name is Denise Williams. I was your host. I see you next week. Bye.